Well, hello, how are you? I hope everything is well. It's been 24 hours since we last spoke. What a difference a day makes. I hope that everything has panned out the way that you wanted it to. Your day went the way that you wanted it to. It ended the way that you wanted it to. And then now here we are again. So you're here for another thought of the day. Let's go ahead and see what Spirit has got to say, okay? Let's go ahead and put on my protective beads here. Anoint my hands. Make sure we pull right for you. As you know, I love my Afro lo-fi. I love my lo-fi beats. There is no words. It's just vibing. You get to just listen to the beats and kind of just tune and meditate that way. I love it. So you can find them on YouTube. That's how I found them. And let me tell you, it's a treat. There's a lot of different lo-fi beats that you can choose from, but I choose the Afro lo-fi beats because I can relate. You can see my avatar got an afro, right? I got afro. So I vibe with the afro. Afro lo-fi beat. We're going to use the tarot for you today. And we're going to see what the message is, all right? And then we'll go from there. As usual, you know the drill. You know the drill. We'll pull from the oracle. See if there's any additional messages for you. Devon, what do you have to say to our guest today? What word do you have for our guest today? What food for thought is it that they should be thinking about, meditating on? You said now, so here we go. 6 of Wands in the reverse. 8 of Wands in the upright. 10 of Wands in the reverse. Bottom of the deck is the 3 of Pentacles. All right. So it looks like you have a situation here where somebody wasn't getting along. There's a group of you that you were collaborating with one another, and you've seen quickly that things were going downhill. You guys just weren't working together. It appears to be personality conflicts. Also, too, ideas of what one has that differs from the other. You guys weren't on the same page, so of course you weren't getting along, and you knew that there wasn't going to be a victory that comes out of that, right? And so in order to overcome sabotaging your project, you guys had to quickly come together and figure something out and move swiftly, because you definitely do have a deadline on this project that you guys are working on. So it looks like you have if you haven't already, this is the mindset that everybody is on to avert a problem. I was just having this conversation with one of my children the other day, and the conversation was about people moving in unity, people being on one accord, people being of the same mind. If you have a group of people working together on a project and you have a common goal, but everybody's mind and ideas and what they want for the project is scattered everywhere, it makes it hard. It's really difficult to pull that off because you guys aren't thinking on the same path. You guys aren't walking the same path. You're not in agreement. You know what I mean? So somebody took the initiative and said, look, We got to pull the reins on this here. We got to pull the reins on this here because we're everywhere. We're all over the place. We're scatterbrained, and we'll be wasting a lot of time and energy, right? And even money, investing into this project, and we don't have a direction. We don't have a path. We don't know where we're going with this. And so we have to maybe vote on some things, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Now, whatever makes more sense. I don't mean to crack the funny because this is not a laughing matter when you have a serious situation going on. One thing that I like about this is that everybody is on the same page. You're not working together, and you definitely want to come up with a solution before things get ugly. And it looks like you guys are going to definitely do that. Let's see what the advice is for you when it comes down to what you guys need to do to collaborate with one another, because really that's what this is about. This is about collaboration, cooperation, getting along, one accord, moving in the same direction. You don't all necessarily have to have I like this here that this popped out, this pentagram. This is talking about the health of the project. Now, when something is healthy, and I'm talking about health is in value. When I'm talking about value, I'm not necessarily talking about money. I'm talking about the value that this project is going to hold, because it's going to benefit more than one person. It's going to benefit all of you. And eventually you will come into the money that you're going to make. But right now, you guys have to save this situation that you're on. So I like that for you here. Okay. So Divine Spirit, what advice do we have here for our dear client who is looking to see, things just keep popping out. Book and water. Instruction, following instruction, intuition. We had the acorn that just popped out just a minute ago. Sage. So, this is basically just saying you have to clean stuff up. All right. You're in the process. If you haven't already, you guys are all thinking it. If you haven't discussed it, you all are trying to, you all are in agreement without even having to speak the word that you need to get into agreement. And you'll be sharing this with one another. So you got the trumpet. Advice, Divine Spirit. I was just having this conversation with my one of my children, and I was just telling them, people can't be up under the same roof, work, factory. People can't live up under the same roof, be up under the same roof, averting a storm. It's in the reverse. You don't read these cards in the reverse, but I like to read reversals because reversals adds diversity to the situation that's going on. It gives you a broader picture of the happenings for the moment. And so I'm hearing pull one more. So we're going to pull one more. Okay, an herb. Okay. All right. And then you got your coin at the bottom. You know what I mean? So the coin, you guys are going to make it work. You're going to make it work. Everybody has to put in their percentage. You know what I'm saying? When I say percentage, their hard work, their energy into the project, their fair share. Everybody has to put in their fair share. Okay, that's what I'm getting with that. Now, with the trumpet, the factory, the storm in the reverse, and with the herb. All right, so somebody blew the whistle. Somebody, had to put a hold. Somebody had to get up on the podium or get up on the table and say, "Looky here, look, we're a mess right now. We're all over the place. We have a deadline that we have to make. This is going to benefit everybody if we do the right thing, if we come up with the right plan, if we come up with what works for everyone, if we're all in agreement, we're definitely going to avert this storm." So what we need to do, and what I get with this herbs can hurt. Herbs are medicine. They can either harm you or they can heal you. In this situation, since we are talking about a situation that is on the mend, that is causing people to stop and rethink, where they're at with this whole situation, what they need to do, because everybody is a little stressed right now because time is not on the side. There's been time wasted where people were not working together. They were not in agreement. Everybody was doing what they wanted to do. There was some frustration going on until somebody here with the trumpet, and they made an announcement. They said, look, we got to stop and we have to take a look at this thing here. And we need to sit back and think. Now, this is where the herb comes in. I hate when people say herb. The H is silent. But tomato. The herb, what we're going to do, since we're all in agreement, we having this meeting. We know that we're not of one sound, one mind, one band. We're not marching in the same direction. We're all over the place. What we're going to do is we're going to sit back and, first of all, be thankful that we are in agreement, that we're not working together. We're going to relax, take some time, think about it, brainstorm, write up our ideas, have a nice cup of tea. I recommend chamomile and lavender. That'll help calm your nerves. That's what I take. This is a good combination. If I don't drink it, I burn it. You know what I mean? Because I have my own little apothecary. So I recommend that. Chamomile and lavender are wonderful teas. And you can infuse the herb with the I have green tea too. You could do that. So have a cup of tea at night, something calming, soothing. Sit back, write your ideas down. I would suggest everybody write 3 ideas down a piece. You guys come to the table, get back to the drawing board, vote on which direction that you want to go, do what makes sense the most. All right. And you guys are going to be fine. So what you're going to do is you're going to worry about saving your project, reclaiming your time, and, getting on one accord and in agreement with one another. And you're going to do that by taking some time out to yourself, right? Not too much time, because, like I said, that, the clock is running out. But from what I can tell, you guys are going to save this situation here, and it's going to work out for the best interest. Your boss is going to be happy. All right. Teamwork makes the dream work, y'all. Teamwork makes the dream work. When people have a divided interest, when they have their own interest in mind, and they're not thinking about what they want and how it affects other people, and they do the thing, they make the decisions that they make for selfish reasons, this is how we get into the situation that we're going into now, here currently in the United States. And it's a mess right now. Everybody had their own idea of what their perfect life would be. They overlook the fact that a lot of people have one common enemy, and they voted for their own best interest. There's sexism involved, racism involved, their own invested interest involved for whatever reason that is. And how many times does a person have to show you who they are before you believe them? This applies to anything: marriage, friendships, work relationships. You understand what I'm saying? Business relationships. You can apply a lot of situations and the things that happen within that situation abroad, around. It's everywhere. A relationship is a relationship. The difference is the status in the relationship and what type of a relationship. But a relationship is not going to work if people are not on one accord. If you live here in the United States, your main goal should be to work and make sure that the United States works. If you are here in the United States, but your mindset is elsewhere abroad, then you got a decision that you have to make. It's either you are part of this situation or you think that you're going to do better somewhere else. But people don't have the same mindset, and you're definitely overlooking, the one thing that everybody has in common. So when people start to realize that no matter what you say, no matter what you do, no matter how you dress, no matter how you act, no matter how high of an education you have, no matter how much money you have in the bank account, if a person don't like you, they don't like you. You got to be aware of a person's intentions and why they want you around and what they want you to do. And if it's not an equal exchange, where everybody's needs, wants, concerns are a part of the decisions that are made, how is it going to work? That's like trying to fit a square inside of a circle. And the square got corners. The circle is a circle. So those edges is going to prevent that square. If the circle is small enough, those edges of that square is going to prevent from this square being fit inside of the circle. You trying to make something work that just don't work, that hasn't worked, has never worked, that has been wrong since its inception. Okay? This applies to every kind of relationship. So what you're going to have to do is have that tough conversation with yourself, come up with a plan, different ideas, people that want things to work, come together, and then you talk. So here at this job and dealing with this project, that's what happened. And so naturally, you're going to have an outcome that works for everybody. And listen, everybody's not going to get everything that they want. But as long as you get majority of what you want and it works for everybody to where everybody can be peaceful, everybody can be calm, everybody's needs can be taken care of, then everybody wins. Everybody wins. Where does your loyalty lie? What is more important to you? Sometimes when you say, not even sometimes, this is just a fact. When you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. It's up to you. You guys said, no, we're not going to sit up here and fail. We're going to win at this. And the only way that we can win at this is if we collaborate, if we put in our fair share of work, if we do the right thing, right? That's the only way that we're going to get the victory. So you got to turn this right side up. All right. In order for you not to be defeated, you have to work together. You got to come with a plan. You got to come with it quickly. All right. This is why Savvy Sage. I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm not even going to pull an oracle tonight. This is why Savvy Sage, where the wise are also prudent. I want to thank you for stopping by for the thought of the day. This is something for you to think about. Okay. All right. Tomorrow's a new day.